Hi everybody, it's Austin. I am at home, and you still are too, most likely. I'm here to talk about great, genre-specific books that you can find in our library catalog and in our online collections that are just waiting for you to check them out. Today, I'm going to suggest some young adult retellings of classic stories. This subgenre has been hugely popular recently, and there are a lot of good books from which to pick. First, I have Pride by Ibi Zoboi, which is a retelling of, you guessed it, Pride and Prejudice. This stars Zuri Benitez, who lives with her parents and four sisters in Brooklyn. She's proud of her city, her family, and their Afro-Latina heritage. However, the upper class Darcy family has just purchased the dilapidated mansion across the street, and they are remodeling it just beyond belief, enough that Zuri feels that they are contributing to gentrification in the neighborhood. Her older sister is falling for one of the Darcy brothers, which puts Zuri in close proximity to Darius, with whom she is constantly butting heads. But circumstance leads them to a new understanding of one another, and perhaps something more. By which, of course, I mean definitely something more, because this is Pride and Prejudice. Next, I have Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim, which is a retelling of the classic revenge story, The Count of Monte Cristo. Amaya has been serving out a sentence on a debtor's prison ship. When she sees a man drowning, she jumps overboard to rescue him, and the man repays the favor by rescuing her from the ship and providing her with money and a new assumed identity. Amaya intends to use this chance to infiltrate the upper class of the city of Moray, find the man who ruined her life, and exact her revenge. But the deeper she goes, the more complicated the situation becomes. This has drama, romance, assumed identities, sword fighting, and all that great stuff you expect from a classic. Next, I have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, which is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet that takes place in Shanghai during the 1920s, when organized crime was at its height. Juliet Kai returns to Shanghai to inherit leadership of the powerful Scarlet Gang. All that stands between her and ruling the entire city are the White Flowers, led by Romeo Montagov, her ex-boyfriend. However, they must unwillingly join forces when a mysterious phenomenon sweeps the streets and gang members start dying in droves. They must find and overcome the mysterious, monstrous cause of this pandemic, or else the winner of their feud won't even have a city to rule over when they're done. This is filled with high-stakes drama and compelling action, and it's like The Great Gatsby if it wasn't boring, and it took place in Shanghai, and it was a gangster/horror movie. What's not to like? Also, Chloe Gong is only like 22. How awesome is that? Next, I have Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, which is a reworking of the King Arthur legend. This stars 16-year-old Brie Matthews, who is doing her best to move on after her mother's death by joining a special program at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. That plan goes up in smoke, however, when she witnesses a monster attack on campus and finds herself involved with a strange group of monster hunters called the Legendborn, led by a teenage magician called, of course, Merlin. The Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of the Knights of the Round Table and explain that they are the combatants in a magical war. But when Bree learns that they may have been involved in her mother's death, she must figure out if the Legendborn are really friend or foe. Finally, I have Anna K by Jenny Lee, which is a retelling of Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, starring a contemporary Korean-American family as opposed to, like a 19th century Russian one. Anna K is perfectly respectable young woman with a respectable life and a respectable family, and she seems to be above all the various drama her family and peers must deal with, up until she meets Alexei Vronsky, a charismatic and uncontrollable young man who bounces between various boarding schools. As they begin their relationship, they must decide how much they are willing to accept and to change for the other, and how much tragedy their love can bear. Many literary scholars consider Anna Karenina to be the all-time greatest novel, which is a tough reputation to live up to, but this book does a pretty darn good job of bringing that story to a new generation. So, those are my recommendations for YA retellings of classic stories. To place holds for any of these books, or any others in our catalog, check out our website at dtdl.org. You can also check out our new BookMatch service, where you answer questions about your reading interests and we provide you with curated recommendations. Thanks guys, keep reading, and I will see you next time.